Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So the 2022 NBA All-Star reserves have been announced, and I'm so excited to do this video because over on Bleacher Report, over on their YouTube channel, I got to do a video about the snubs. So I got to talk about all the negativities and just like who should have made it, man, who didn't deserve it, all that good stuff over on Bleacher Report. So for this video, man, I simply just get to say nice things. I get to pay respects towards all these great NBA basketball players. They are now NBA All-Stars. Some for the first time, right? We got some first-timers on here, don't we? Yeah, Darius Garland, man. Darius Garland. Okay. Getting ahead of myself, man. Getting ahead of myself. But yes, if you guys don't mind checking out that Bleacher Report video, because your support, literally, man, literally can be the difference between me, you know, maybe one day being the GM of the Detroit Pistons. Who really knows, man? Who knows where that stuff can go, right? So link to that is going to be in the description below when it's available. But here we go. Actually, probably in the comment section. Probably the pinned comment, to be honest. But alrighty. Let's start with James Harden. James Harden, man, the beard, who for years was the greatest shooting guard in the NBA on the Houston Rockets. Is he the greatest shooting guard now? He's a good shooting guard, man. And what I like about James Harden is that he's been able to kind of like play this new style of basketball for himself where he doesn't have to be like Superman, right? Like he can go out there, play his game, but in a way that it's still efficient and makes, you know, his team great and everything. So right now, the Nets are 29-22 on the season. It's been a weird year for them. Let's actually pull up James Harden real quick here, man, and kind of see what he has been all about. So James Harden, 23 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds per game, 3-point shot at about 33%, and 2-pointers at 48%. So, I mean, yeah, maybe not as efficient shooting-wise as years past, but still with the assists and everything, those are still all-star numbers, right? Maybe it's not his greatest season of all time, but it's still all-star numbers nonetheless. We got Jason Tatum of the East, man. Jason Tatum right here. So with Jason Tatum, I mean, you know, once again, the Celtics in a weird transition year, but Jason Tatum's still phenomenal. And I mean, somebody on the Celtics between him and Jaylen Brown, you could probably argue both the guys should have been able to make it. And I know with like injury replacements, that still might be a case. But Jason Tatum did make it at 26 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists per game. And yeah, I mean, there's so many rumors with the Celtics these days saying like, oh, they should split up Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I would not do that, man. You guys got these young players that are these all-star caliber dudes, all-star dudes actually. And yeah, don't ruin that. Don't ruin that because you get impatient in the moment. Like, set yourself up for long-term success. Zach Levine, the Chicago Bulls, man. Yes, sir, man. Zach Levine, for a few years now, was a guy that was always so disrespected, and the reason is because, you know, he put up like these numbers are not new to Zach Levine. These are not new numbers. Like, this is just what he does, but now it's leading to wins. And, you know, people say that guys like Zach Levine once upon a time were like stat padders. That's not the case. This is the guy that put up numbers that needed the rest of the supporting cast. He needed Vucevic, he needed Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, guys like that, and the numbers haven't changed. Stat padders are guys that put up numbers, then when the winning comes around, the numbers go down. That's not the case with Zach Levine. Definitely warranted his all-star spot, and I mean, there was people saying he should have started next to DeMar DeRozan in the backcourt and everything, right? Like over Trae Young. So what do you guys think about that? Fred VanVleet, man. Fred VanVleet of the Toronto Raptors, representing the North up in there, man. Undrafted player, NBA All-Star reserve. Is there even more that needs to be said about it, okay? Is there even more that needs to be said about this man? So, yeah, I know there's been, I've done a few videos about, like, who I thought should have made it and stuff, and Fred VanVleet was on the fence for me, like, along with, like, LaMelo Ball and guys like that, but, you know, I recognize this man's greatness and everything, and, very well deserved. And that's the thing that I, you know, try to point out in all my videos about talking about All-Stars. I feel like all these guys deserve it. It's just a matter of who's going to make it, right? So, yeah, awesome for him. Next up, we got Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat on the season, 22-6-6. Just, man, he is that grit and grind Heat team. Like, he is that attitude, that foundation. He's the mentality, all that. Like, this team goes as far as Jimmy Butler takes them, man. And if he's playing like this, who knows? Currently second place in the Eastern Conference, and that's with some injuries on the season. This, you know, to start things off with Bam, Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo. So yeah, watch out for this team, man. And then next up, we got one that, okay, I ain't gonna lie, surprised me a little bit in Chris Middleton, and it didn't surprise me because he's like a bad player. it's just, I feel like there's guys that have kind of played a little bit better. And I think one example is Jaylen Brown. I feel like Jaylen Brown, plain and simple, has put up better numbers than Chris Middleton. I think when it comes down to it, the Bucks are, you know, 4th place right now. And the Celtics are 9th. So it's like they probably couldn't, like, justify having 2 Celtics and not having 2 Bucks. Or even in the case, too, man, you know, two Cavaliers. Because Jarrett Allen didn't make it. And I actually don't think I mentioned him in my snubs video. But, yeah, man, another guy that probably deserved it. But Chris Middleton, congrats. Like, those are still really good numbers. All-star numbers, you know, 25 and 5 is nothing to joke around about. Always, you know, pretty close to that 50, 40, 90 club. So, shout out to Middleton. And then finally, rounding out the Eastern Conference was probably the guy that I was most excited for, just watching him play and everything. As you guys know, is Darius Garland. Darius Garland, man. The face of this new look Cavs team. And obviously, I know they got Mobley, I know they got Jared, they got Colin Sexton, but Darius Garland's where it all starts, man. Like, the way that he's been able to progress his basketball talent and his NBA talent, I should say, this season. Man, it's in Cleveland. Like, I would have loved if Jared Allen would have also made it. Just want to pull him up real quick here too, man, because I feel like this is a guy that definitely should get, like, recognized as what he's done this season. 16 points, 11 rebounds per game. You know, always a solid, you know, paint defender and everything. So there you all have it, man. And then for the Western Conference, we got Luka Doncic. So not really too much to talk about with him, as we all know who Luka is. You know, if there wasn't, you know, if positionless basketball was a thing in the NBA All-Star game, that Luka would be starting. He'd be starting probably over Andrew Wiggins. So yeah, man, like, we all know who Luka is. We all know how great he is. We know who all these guys are, unless you're a casual, right? Which, yeah, okay. Next up, we got Chris Paul. So yeah, Chris Paul, as far as his stats go, you know, those are still really good numbers. 15 and 10 and 5, especially for how old he is. But, you know, what Chris Paul is an all-star at is just being a leader, being the definition of a point guard, man. You know, being that quarterback out there. Like, that's what CP3 brings, and that's the difference he brings to a basketball team, most notably, or recently, I should say, the Phoenix Suns, right? So there we have it. And then next up, we got the other guy in the backcourt. It's actually pretty cool, man, that both the Suns made it, in Devin Booker. Devin Booker, 25, 4, and 6, making the All-Star game, not as an injury replacement, which is, hey, I think there's something to be said about that. That's important at the end of the day, man. So great for Devin Booker and Chris Paul. 41 and 9 is the Suns' current record at the making of this video, deserving of 2 All-Stars. You might even say 3. You might even say DeAndre Ayton could have been tossed in there at some point. Next up, we got Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz, and while we're at it, we'll go ahead and cover his teammate too. Where are we at, Donovan Mitchell? Maybe I should just do Mitchell? Mitchell? There we go. Donovan, nope, that's Davion. Donovan, there we go. Donovan Mitchell and his teammate, Rudy Gobert. So you got the offensive tenacity of Mitchell on the left side. You got the defensive anchor of Rudy Gobert, man. The Eiffel Tower on the inside, man. On the right side, I should say. Jazz 31 and 21 on the season. Jazz are not always greatly talked about, you know, as far as it's like NBA media and stuff like that. But, you know, for whatever reason, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, though, man, like, these guys are both talented basketball players, and they both are very well deserving of it. Rudy Gobert, I remember to start the season, his name was, like, up there, like, in, like, the NBA tracker, like, based off his analytics alone. So, yeah, very excited to see what this Jazz team can do. They did lose Joe Ingles for the season, but they got 2 All-Stars right here, and they got Mike Conley, who's a former All-Star, too. So, there you have it. And then we also got 2 final players to talk about. We got Draymond Green. So Draymond Green actually is going to be an injury replacement, so he is not going to play. But nonetheless, you look at his stat line. No, it's not the sexiest stat line, but Draymond Green's never been about the stats. It's just been about his leadership, man. So he's the Chris Paul of forwards, I guess you might say. And then you got Karl Anthony Towns representing the Minnesota T-Wolves, dropping that 25, 4, and 10. Another great addition out there, man. So there you have it. Like I said, though, go check out my Bleacher Report video if you want me to go more in depth than with this and, you know, talk about the snubs. That's going to be over there. But that's all we have. Also, on my second channel, Extra Crispy, whenever it's up, I'm probably going to react to Flight's take because it's always hilarious. That's all we got. Peace out, my friends.